Hey everyone, welcome back to AFTV. Welcome to another 5 p.m. live. We're here, me and Tesh, we're back after Friday. Good to see you.
Catching up again.
Yeah, a couple of days off from all the transfer carnage, because last week did end somewhat frantically, I think is the word.
Yeah.
And then it looked like at one point that today might pick up in that same way. Not so much, but still lots to talk about. Just quickly, how are you?
I'm all good, you know. Nice end to the week last week.
Yep.
Father's Day Sunday.
Of course. Happy
Yeah.
Father's Day.
Nice one. But yeah, listen, I want players to be linked with the club. I want players to be coming into the club. And at the end of the show on Friday, well, towards the end, that's when the Martinez news broke.
Yeah.
And now every Tom, Dick and Harry knows about the Martinez, and now a second bid is incoming, but no one knew about the first bid, and now everyone seems to know about this second bid. But it is what it is. It's good to be linked to good players. We need to do a lot in the window. I've been saying this for a while, so doing it early makes sense because, you know, even if we get business done early, we're still going to need to move into July thinking about business as well.
Do you think there's been something at Arsenal, whether it be Arteta or Edu, or something that's just gone... You know, you have those moments where you go, we need to get going now. Like, we need to, now this needs to pick up. And even if you're spending an extra 2-3 million on a player, maybe that's worth it to get them in early. It definitely feels like there's a different tone around Arsenal today than there was exactly 7 days ago.
Yeah, I mean, with the Martinez stuff, I know it broke on Friday that we've made a bid and whatnot, but we've been fooled by these types of rumours before as well. I can't say for sure we've made a bid. But if he is someone that we're interested in, if we do get him over the line, I like that because, listen, it's the third year of the process. So by now, I assume Arteta, Edu know what they want, the type of profile of players they want, and so on. Now, that doesn't mean that they have to want what we want. I wanted a 20-goal-a-season striker. Sure. It doesn't seem like we're going down that route. It seems like we're going into a route where, you know, multiple players are going to get 10 to 15 goals. We're going to discuss that later. Listen, I didn't expect that, but it's their process. I'm just happy that with Viera, it's obvious that we've wanted him for a little while to get it done, and we didn't activate the release clause. That's a shrewd bit of business. Yeah. Hopefully he hits the ground running, and you know, he increases his value, and he's an important member of the team, and so on. But that's the way in the third year I expect it to be going. Pretty early in the transfer window, definitive targets that maybe none of us knew about, none of us expected, but they believe in it. They know what they want. It might not be what I want, but I'm not a professional. I'm not a coach. I haven't got badges. I'm just an Arsenal fan. Yeah. And as a fan of football and over the years, 20-goal striker is just something that big teams need. Yeah. It's just that over the years, that's kind of changed a little bit with the way Pep's done stuff, with the way Klopp's done stuff. So I get it. Maybe it's just get with the times sign. Well,
I mean, yeah, but then are the times changing even from that? Because you've now got Liverpool and City bringing in Haaland and Nunez, and if as great as they are and the records they've broken and the tallies they've achieved, even they're getting to points where they go, we might need just a big bloke up front to swing the ball into.
And that's what makes me nervous, James.
Right.
You know, like I said, I like the way, you know, so far only Viera, even though it's not confirmed, it looks like it's on the verge of completion. But Martinez, I like that. But at the end of the day, it has to work as well. You know, it has to work. And this season in particular, it has to work. We've got to hit the ground running, start the season well for the first time in how long. But yeah, that's what makes me nervous because Pep's done it. Klopp's done it. Considerably higher budgets than Arsenal Football Club. I think it's a lot harder to do that on a budget. But you also look at those two sides and they're going more back to a 20-goal-a-year type of striker. So we'll see. Maybe we've missed the curve, or maybe we've entered it at the right time. And I don't know.
Yeah, I know. And actually, Arsenal's transfer business has been from completely kind of quiet and you're thinking what is going on to suddenly really fascinating because you're suddenly like Fabio Vieira, like, okay, I know I was saying last week, you know, I had heard of this guy, but it wasn't one that I was saying to you guys in the office, forget even the name, we need this type of player, we need that, whatever. I definitely wanted a midfielder who had more output. That's why I suggested James Maddison to Graham. I wanted that midfielder who could play in the midfield three but be racking up 10 to 15 goals a season, 10 to 15 assists a season. So he looks like he's got the potential to do that. But when you see that and then the Lisandro Martinez links, again, we're willing to spend up to 30 million. So that could be 60 million on a centre-back and a creative midfielder. Now, I'm trying to do mental gymnastics to think, well, he can play in the front three, Viera, and Lisandro Martinez could play left-back and holding midfield. So maybe that's where we're going to see them. Maybe Viera becomes that number 8. You try to tell yourself these things to make it make sense, but maybe they're just bringing in, another number 10, and another centre-back, in which case you're sitting there going, okay, well, either Arteta's lost the plot, or listen, that's a difference of opinion, right? Or there's actually real money for them to work with there, and they're really properly strengthening. Yeah,
and it kind of indicates, look, again, we're going to talk about Pep, but his rotation policy, even players that have scored 20 in a season for him, some seasons they play half of the games off the bench and so on. So it looks very much like, he's maybe not copying, but going for that type of a system where there's rotation-based competition and whatnot.
I think so.
Goals from an abundance of areas. But like I said, it's got to work.
Absolutely.
It's got to work. And off the back of this Viera news, the Tielemans news has died down a bit. Something we're going to get into.
Yeah, we really need to talk about that.
We can't take our foot off the gas. Yes, be excited. And yes, there are some players in there that would improve our squad. But from where we are, that's not too difficult. Let's just make sure we do improve the squad in the areas we need to improve it in. Because look, football has changed, but at the same time, Arsenal in transfer windows in the past, even when we bought Pepe, when we bought Pepe, I was excited. When we bought Pepe, I thought we had, we pulled one off. But the reality is, even that summer, we knew we needed to probably strengthen in other areas first and foremost. I think that summer probably centre-back was a priority. Instead, we gave 30 million on Saliba, then loaned him out. We spent 70 on Pepe, and the rest is history. So it's all good and well being excited by a particular signing, but even with Viera, even you would say that it wasn't a priority position. It's intriguing, it's interesting, and potentially exciting. But let's make sure we don't leave any gaps open going into the season. Otherwise, these signings might not matter in the end.
And that's what a lot of people, they're using that kind of same logic and applying to this Raphinha stuff. So we'll go into what's been said. But again, a lot of the feeling is, but we've got Saka, we've got Smith Rowe, Martinelli on the other wing. We've got this young Marquinhos. We need strikers. We need maybe a bit more, what's the word? Just quality in central midfield. So why are we being linked to Raphinha for a reported 50, 60, maybe 70 million? Let's go through what was said. So according to Ruben Uria, Leeds United received a great offer from Arsenal for Raphinha. The Gunners are close to closing the operation. Interesting. I mean, when you hear, we saw the Viera stuff came out of nowhere. You're suddenly like, okay, a journalist broke the news. He's flying to England. And when someone comes out of nowhere and they go, it's really close, you tend to take more notice of it, not just because they're saying it's close, but because you're going, this came out of nowhere, and that's a really big statement.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not like they're riding the wave.
Right, exactly.
But they could be trying to start a wave. That's the other side of the coin.
Exactly. That is exactly it.
Oh, that one's going a bit quiet. Let's jump on that one again quickly.
Fabrizio Romano said that Arsenal are in direct negotiations with Leeds for Raphinha, but did make the point. I want to find his exact tweet, actually, because I thought he gave the most... I was going to use the word sensible, but actually just the update that made the most situation to me. So Barcelona had agreed personal terms with Raphinha, no agreement on the fee with Leeds though. Arsenal in negotiation with Leeds, they've been interested since March, which is interesting. Both Chelsea and Tottenham have been in contact too. Fee could be 65 to 75 million. That all just sounds right to me. I hear that, I go, yeah, that is probably what's going on. I imagine that he is looking at the Barcelona move. If it can't happen, I don't think he's willing to kind of wait, an extra... I was going to say an extra year. He might not be willing to wait the summer. We've then got from David Anderson at The Mirror. He said Raphinha will not push to join either Arsenal or Tottenham as his priority is to join Barcelona. Leeds have set a £60 million asking price, but Barcelona are only willing to offer around half that amount, and their interest has cooled in recent weeks. Charles Watts says that the Gunners are keen on bringing Leeds winger Raphinha to North London and believe they could get a deal done for the winger, providing Barcelona do not rekindle their interest in the 25-year-old. And then 10 minutes ago, There's even more. It keeps flying in. Okay, there's more here from, let me get this right, it was Matteo Moretto, constant updates all the time, who said, Arsenal push for Raphinha, progress between the club and Brazilian's entourage, although there is no formal offer. Leeds asking for 55 million euros plus 50 million in bonuses. And Gary Jacob from the Times said Arsenal submit a 50 million pound bid for Leeds winger Raphinha. It's quite a lot there. I mean, and a lot of that's come in the last 20 minutes. Here's another one. Deco is believed to have held meetings with Edu, Arsenal's technical director. Leeds are now expecting official approach from Arsenal.
It's still an interesting one because I still lean on the, is it a priority,
Yeah,
I still lean on that. Similar to Ben White last summer, 50 million on a centre-back when a lot of people thought Saliba was going to come back in, and we spent a decent amount on Gabriel the year before. Listen, obviously moving into the season, it's better to have Gabriel, Ben White, Saliba, and some depth in that position. But with Raphinha, it's an interesting one. It goes back to that, what he wants to do. And what he wants to do is have goals from multiple areas. It's, like I said, this new school system-based football and all that, yes, it's exciting, and yes, it's, perfection. Mm-hmm. When it works, it's perfection. Pep and Klopp at times, what they've done is amazing. Yeah. But it has to work, otherwise it can look foolish. Mm-hmm. I'm nervous about it. Listen, Raphinha's an exciting player. I'd take Raphinha all day long if we had a starting 11 that I was confident going into the season with. I'm still not confident in certain areas. So the 50, 60 million rumours on Raphinha, I'm hesitant to say yes unless I know we're sorting out. If Martinez comes in, if Tielemans comes in, and Raphinha and Jesus come in, then okay, cool. You've plugged a decent amount. I would have preferred two strikers, but you've actually brought in goals in midfield and an attacking winger as well. It's making a bit more sense, but it still has to work. I just don't want Raphinha to be the chunk of the money and then was scrimping and umming and ahhing for the rest of the window. Yeah,
I hear you. So, little spoiler, Transfer Daily Extra coming out very soon on Gabriel Jesus. Robbie was making the point, he'd probably want another striker still, as you were saying. And I tried to break down, actually, what I did was I took Arsenal's front six. So you had Partey, I took Viera, Odegaard, Xhaka, Tielemans. I'm assuming we get the players we're linked to. And I got their highest league tallies and basically added them up. Mm-hmm. And you've got 73 goals there, which is Arsenal managed 61 in the league this season. Tielemans hit six in this last season, 6 in the year before. Vieira's hit 6 this year. That's without even adding a Raphinha, because I didn't include Pepe's numbers. We're going to talk about Pepe. So what I was basically saying was, I wonder if so much of what happens in football is data-driven these days. You look at the Moneyball model, which for anyone who doesn't know Moneyball, it's essentially looking at players who are undervalued for the data and numbers that they're putting up, getting them and selling them on. That's basically what Brentford do. So I wonder whether there is a bit of a Moneyball model going on at Arsenal, where it's a case of, okay, we can't afford that 30 goal a season striker, but we can afford two 20-goal contribution players. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I wonder whether that's the way they're looking at it. And it's worked for City, but when I see them sign Haaland and Alvarez, two more traditional number 9s, and Alvarez is more of an Aguero-style number 9, but he's a striker, I just wonder whether even they're moving away from that, because these are the guys who are trend-setting in football.
That's the worry. Yeah. That's the worry. Listen, Pep and Klopp have set the levels over the years, and it's all good and well learning off them, and in particular Arteta learning off Pep. But, football's swings and roundabouts. You know, one particular system doesn't really go a long way. It wasn't so long ago that Jose Mourinho's Chelsea side and his rigid defensive organisation was copied all over. It wasn't that long ago when Conte went to a back five and those fullback scenarios was copied by 16, 17 teams in the league. Yeah. Now it's this era. I'm worried because, have we came in at the right time or have we come in when it's dying out? We will see. Like I keep on saying, it's the third year of the process. I like that they're definitive with their targets, but I'd like even more that we're ready for the season and we start it off well and we end it well.
AFC Max says, hey guys, I don't know if you missed it, but I sent $5 thanks on the show with Curtis and Robbie's brother, but on another note, Raphinha is a player that I will take that will take us up. Why am I struggling to read? This is, sorry, Max, this isn't even a difficult super chat. Let me read it properly again. Hey, guys, I don't know if you missed it. I sent $5 thanks on the show with Curtis and Robbie's brother. That would be Laurie. But on another note, Raphinha is a player that will take us up. Yes, I agree. And thank you very much for the super chat. And I'm sure Laurie and Curtis will be extremely grateful for it as well. Ashwin says, hi, this is Ashwin Padilla from Mumbai, India. Raphinha signing would be the same like Alexis Sanchez, the biggest excitement awaiting. He's quoted there, so I'm not sure who's quoting there, but yeah, I mean, I get the general like it. I think with Alexis, he'd done it at Barcelona, so it feels a little bit different, but it's that level of, you know, those goal-scoring wingers.
Just under that level for me. Sanchez is different. Well, he was different class.
It was. I don't mean in terms of player. I mean just like that feeling you get with the marquee signing. You go, this is
Gnabry would have been
our guy.
More than Sanchez in that sense. But Raphinha, definitely exciting.
I do rate him really highly, not just because he's linked with Arsenal. Yeah, Raphinha. I really do. And you know,
the thing about Sanchez, when the chips were down, he was still fighting, and that's a rare trait in footballers now.
I mean, he was an unbelievable.
It's very rarely things are not going your way, and you still have a world-class player really trying his hardest, running about, wanting the ball. You know, Sanchez was one of those.
Yeah, he could do it all.
Raphinha, I don't see as one of those in terms of quality all day. Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah,
but when the chips are down, to be honest, with Leeds as well, the chips have been down, and in certain games I've seen him, he's been fighting hard, and you can see he feels it as well, which bodes well.
I just think a dying breed in football is players who terrify fullbacks, and you get wingers that if you focus your attention on them, you can stop them. But some of them, they're not even the quickest. Riyad Mahrez, for example, when that ball switched out to him and he takes that immaculate first touch, probably the best first touch in the Premier League, I'm not even joking, and he takes it down and he's pinned down that fullback. As a fan, you just sit there and go, well, let's hope we get out of this one. Yeah. Because he just terrifies teams. And I just have this feeling Raphinha could be that.
100% he can be.
Yeah.
He can be.
Let's see. Ramin says, what's going to happen with Pepe if he stays? That's going to be a talking point. And actually, it's in the title of the show. Not because there are rumours, but quite literally the opposite.
Yeah.
Because there are no rumours. Yeah. And I think that's something we need to discuss. We'll go into that. I've read AFC Max's super chat. Any comments come in? Let's have a little look at what people are saying. Sleeping Dragon says Sadio Mane used to terrorise defenders. He absolutely did. And then Klopp kind of changed the way he plays. Apparently I have missed another super chat. Let me just have a little look if I can find it. Apology, guys. Let me go back and find this. Yes, Nigel, yes, I did. Apologies. He says Raphinha's not coming. Remember Vlahovic. This link is just to make Barcelona make a more considerable bid. I think Sterling will be a better option for us. That's the other side of all this. Why do we? When I hear a report that says, you know, Raphinha and Leeds haven't heard anything from Barcelona for weeks, you know, he's now focused on the Arsenal interest. That sounds very like, we're done with you, and then hoping to hurry Barcelona up.
Yeah. Because I'm sure if he's waiting for Barcelona, he's not going to give up on you a couple of weeks into the window. Yeah. There's still a hell of a long time left.
You're not. If
you want to play for Barcelona, then you wait. You know.
Forget the situation Barcelona are in. Right. You don't go. Oh, it's nearly mid-June.
Yeah.
Not sure Barca's the one. You know. I was in Barcelona a couple of weeks ago. That new camp. It's still like it was only a couple of years ago that they were in a Champions League semi-final. It's an unbelievable football club, and I think if it's to happen, it will drag on the summer. And I'm willing to say right now, I don't mind that. He's that good that I'm willing. If we got Jesus, Tielemans, Viera, Martinez in, and then the one that's sort of stretched out because we're really kind of fighting tooth and nail from is Raphinha, I'm kind of cool with that because I understand that there might be a case of having to convince and having to sort of scrap for this one. And I think he's that good.
Out of all the names, I'd say for a different reason. I'd say because I think he's the least of our priorities. So I wouldn't mind if we sort out every other position and he is the one that drags out. Because I feel like, you know, obviously he improves our side, he adds depth to our side, he adds quality to our side, but if we plug the necessary gaps and holes, then, you know, we're ready for the season.
Yeah.
And that would just be like the icing on the cake.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, I completely agree. Bob says, sensitive fan base cries at an opposing opinion. I think sometimes online, if I think I saw something today being said about Gabriel Jesus on Sky, and I think it was taken quite negatively, but I didn't think it was a particularly negative thing that was said about Jesus. It was basically about how it wasn't really working for him as a striker for Brazil, so he kind of said that he wanted to play more on the wing, and he's not really played as much, and Arsenal might have that problem and need to kind of figure that out before they sign him. But I think that's a fair point, and again, it's going to come with the Transfer Daily Extra. In fact, let's talk about Jesus, because that was on the agenda. That is something Arteta, I'm sure Arteta and Edu have decided in their mind where he fits in the team, but things change, and opportunities pop up in windows, and maybe a striker is available that wasn't before or whatever. But I don't think. I think he's versatile. He could play lots of different positions. That's not a bad thing. But I think people questioning that isn't.
It's not a bad thing, but when you're a team crying out for a natural goal scorer, that's where the concern comes in.
Sure.
I want Jesus, but I also want another striker that's a bit more certy in terms of being in the penalty area, being in and around balls coming into the box, because we've missed that for years. Like, how many times have we said, why are we swinging balls into the box and there's no one in there? Jesus is not necessarily that guy. He's going to be in there, because he is quite physical, but there's also going to be times where he's dropping deep like Lacazette, or he's out on the right hand allowing Saka to float inside, and so on. So I get the concerns. It doesn't mean I'm putting down Jesus. I want him. But there are concerns there, because the past 2 years, what I look at, creating chances has been a problem that's improved in the last season, I believe. But scoring goals is a problem that hasn't improved. And Jesus, based off of what he's done, it doesn't look like he solves that. But at 25, you look at the limited opportunities he really had at Manchester City, you can only hope that he's ready. He's ready to step up, take the number 9 shirt, become more of a goal scorer than anything, and we reap the benefits.
I get to a certain point, and by the way, thank you, Billy the Kid, for the super chat as well. There's no text. He's retracted the message, but there was a super chat, so thank you. I get to a point of the transfer window where I just get switched off to certain rumours. And that's not because I'm not excited about them anymore. I'll give you 2 examples. Fabio Viera. I've heard he's in the building, he's had a medical, he's in London. Arsenal announced when they announced that. I don't need constant, and I'm not discrediting the journalists here, because they've got a job to do and fans are desperate and demanding updates all the time. I just personally switch off to announcement soon, paperwork's being done. I'm like, cool, it's done. Like, unless something drastically goes wrong, it's done. Thank you. With Jesus, I'm kind of getting to that point now where it's been kind of said everywhere, whether it's reports in Brazil and England, City correspondence, Arsenal correspondence, whatever. Jesus is the next target. It's looking very likely, pretty much done. No, not pretty much done, but a lot of people are sort of talking about it like this is looking very, very good for Arsenal. The next thing I need is basically he's in London for a medical, and then kind of anything else, we kind of know roughly how much it's going to be or whatever. So it's just, sometimes they can just drag on a little bit, but it feels like those are going to be the first 2 now, Viera and Jesus.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, even over the weekend, two different people I know messaged me about, and they're connected to City in some way, shape or form, and they're like, mate, it's done. Jesus is done. But I'm just like, well, it seemed like it was close to being done weeks ago. I'll wait for it to be done. It's all good and well being updated. Sometimes saying there's no update is the best form of update. And some of these journals got to get the hang of that. Sometimes it's better for you as well and your own reputation to come out and say no real update today, still to be confirmed later on this week. We'll get back to you in due course. Not we're waiting on. It's there's always something around these updates. Just no update. Like you said with Viera, to me, he's pretty much an Arsenal player based off of what happened last week.
I think the Premier League website has him down as an Arsenal player.
Oh, is it?
Porto, not confirmed it, but I think
they did announce. Porto kind of did announce it.
I know their letter kind of, I don't know if they got leaked or someone posted it, but they had definitely essentially told their league that Fabio Viera had been transferred to Arsenal. So
we're just waiting for that one. And with Jesus, same thing. How many times can I hear it's close or it's done or he's in London? I've heard it so many times now that, listen, when it's done, it's done. If it isn't done, we'll discuss.
Yeah, and with transfers, they can collapse out of nowhere. You know, we have seen that. Willian did a medical at Tottenham, signed for Chelsea.
Yeah.
Then came to the mighty Arsenal. What a year he had. But, you know, that can happen. It really can happen that players are on the absolute brink. So no one's sitting here going, Viera, Jesus, they're in, done, all finished. We're not sitting here saying that. I'm just saying we get to the point where I think you just kind of get, okay, cool. They're moving along nicely.
Yeah.
The next updates need to be the more concrete ones.
Yeah, for Viera, the next update for me that I've taken notice of, he's confirmed.
The announcement.
For Jesus, the next update, medical.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's that stage it's at. Until, and it has to be solid links medical, like the same way Viera news came in, not just some any guy on Twitter saying, medical booked. I want it to be solid and have foundation.
Shreth isn't happy with Ian Wright. He said, sorry, but righty just English bias. Eddie, I think he's referring to the fact that Ian Wright obviously publicly on social media defended Eddie Nketiah. He says Eddie just ran out his contract, scored 5 in the end by that logic. M35 got a gold, scored more 3 season and worked harder coming from Brazil. I think he's talking about Martinelli. So Martinelli 35. Anyway. And then he says, wish we can sign Raphinha and Jesus. I think he's essentially discrediting a little bit. I don't think Shreth is particularly rating what Eddie's achieved to get his contract, basically. I think is what he's saying. And obviously he's referring to Ian Wright.
Not many fans are.
Well, not many fans are giving
understanding of it.
Of the contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah.
You know.
It sparked a bit of debate on the weekend. Obviously, it was announced he got the number 14 shirt. We're not going to go into all that again. We've talked about it. Gabriel came out and tweeted. It felt like it was referring to the Nketiah news and what some people had been saying. I think he tweeted, "Some of you can be so ungrateful. Oh my God," or something.
Gabriel, yeah.
Yeah, I think Gabriel tweeted that. Yeah, and then. And obviously we mentioned Ian Wright's comment. I don't know. Forgetting what's been tweeted or what's been said, my just opinion generally is, because it's how I feel, the number 14 shirt, if that means a lot to you and you feel that there needs to be a certain criteria to achieving that number for Arsenal, it's a perfectly fine opinion to have. If you're abusing a football player for getting that number, then oh my God, really? Yeah. Like, we talked about this on Friday. Beyond the conversation, I went off and had a good Friday night. I wasn't sat there at home thinking, oh, he's got number 14. And at the same time, it's like, okay, we have our opinion, but move on, decision made. We might know how we feel about it or how we want things to be done. But yeah, abusing a player for it, and ultimately, congrats to Eddie on his contract. I hope he does really well.
Yeah, I always say abuse is not necessary. I think everyone's entitled to their opinion, whether it's positive or whether it's negative, cool. I just think, this day and age now, everything is like, oh, you're too negative. Oh, you're too positive. And it's just always at each other's necks and whatnot. I'm tired of it. Let people have their opinion as long as it's not abusive, disrespectful and all that. Cool. Just let people have their opinion. There's nothing wrong with having an opinion. A lot of us are match going fans. A lot of us spend money on whatever it is, merchandise or whatever it is around us. I think people are entitled to have their opinion. Like you said, as long as it's not abusive, that's, in my opinion, it's fine. Whether it's positive or negative, it's fine.
Abuse online can go really out of hand. It's probably a conversation that's worth really having in in full detail, either on this channel or on DR at some point. But me, who is nothing like, you have it, nothing like these mega celebrities or anything. I've just come on AFTV, so sometimes I tweet my thoughts.
Yeah.
And I'll tweet something that's like not really even an opinion. It could be a question. And you could get met with all sorts. So imagine kind of what players, suffer or whatever at times. Imagine the kind of sheer pressure that's on them constantly for their performances or whatever. That when I think it does venture into the world of abuse, I've got absolutely no problem with defenders and former players, whatever, not defenders, players the defender was Gabriel, or former players coming out and defending them, you know, and sticking up in that situation, because it can get absolutely out of hand online.
Well, I haven't seen. What did he say?
Who? Sorry,
Ian Wright.
Oh, I've not got it on me actually.
Well, yeah,
but,
to be honest, I don't know what the initial comment said. I don't know what the response is, but you know, like I said, people are allowed their opinions. People are allowed their opinions. Sometimes in moments where it seems like, you know, the positivity is outweighing the negativity, people want to jump on that wave. Sometimes when it seems like the negativity outweighs the positive, people want to jump on that wave. In my opinion, that's the worst. That's the worst type of fan. You know, have your opinion. Yeah, like you can't say something at the end of one year and then the next year you flipped it and then you're saying something contradicting what you said. And that happens far too many times from fans. It happens from ex-players. It happens a hell of a lot with Arsenal Football Club. People ride waves and then in that moment they say something, but the reality is there's more to it. There's more to. People are upset about Eddie getting 14. Cool, I understand that. I understand people being upset about it more so than I understand people being happy about it. That's for sure. That's for sure. But do I now go and then respond under people's positivity and start talking about them left, right and centre? I don't. Leave them to it. If you want to be positive about it, be positive. What can I do? We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Just no need to abuse. And it does happen.
Yeah, that should go without saying. You know,
the problem is it should go without saying, but it happens. It just happens. You know.
Yeah, it does. It does happen. That's why, like I said, I haven't seen the comments. Maybe the comment was abusive, and you know, and it is what it is. But at the end, people just need to just allow it with all of this positivity, negativity stuff. You know, if you're an Arsenal fan, you should want the best for the club. That's it. Healthy debates come from differing opinions. If we don't have differing opinions, then we'll just all be robots smiling and nodding at each other, getting along. Would be perfect for this ownership if we was all robots. Trust me on that.
Sayat with a super chat says, we're really off topic there, but and worth exploring. Sayat says, latest news on Osimhen transfer or only Jesus? Nothing on Osimhen as far as I'm aware. Let's get through these super chats. Felipe says, Raphinha and Jesus will be fighting for a spot in the Brazilian team for the World Cup. We need that energy. Benny says, Turkish, hope you enjoyed your Father's Day. Does such a big price tag open up for disappointment? Where does that leave guys like Reece Nelson?
Forgotten man.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, worth a discussion another day. We've still got quite a bit to go through. Aya Thithuka says the midfield has more of a positive impact than the striking position. Midfield is the engine of the team, and a Ferrari is useless without a good engine. Yeah, which is why, trust me, I've been watching F1, and Ferraris are useless without a good engine. Which is why we're going to talk about the Tielemans stuff, and is why we've been so focused on that as well. Yeah. James, again, loads of people ask about Osimhen. Why are Arsenal not going for Osimhen? He's a beast. He's a fantastic player. But I guess priced out, I imagine. F for the super chat says, I saw this story. He said Xhaka under investigation for a yellow card. I'm not going to comment on it because I've not read up on it properly and what's going on, but I saw that headline being thrown around. I don't know if it was an old one or whatever, so we'll look into that. And if there's any news, of course, we'll break it, because I've not really seen it bar that one article. And normally when these things are a big deal, you see it everywhere. Tony with Super Chat says, Haaland should give a lot of City fans the hump. I don't know what he means by that. Wow, loads of comments coming in. Thank you. Jacob says, Rakik out on a season-long loan. Yeah, it's looking like he is going to go out on loan. As well as Biereth, I think. They're both going to the Eredivisie, I believe. So, yeah. Anyway, interesting to chat about that and, everything. Let's go back to what we were meant to discuss as well, which is that Pepe. Now, a lot of these titles are based off news. We're literally putting Pepe in this title because there's no news.
It's weird, isn't it?
Which is news in itself. He hasn't been linked with anyone. Put in the comment section if there's a link that we've missed.
That's not Lille, because I've heard something that
Lille
will take him
I've
back,
heard absolutely nothing, which is extraordinary. He just got a new agent in the summer. Clearly isn't fancied by Arteta, and that's a debate another day whether that's right or wrong. Hasn't worked for him at Arsenal, even when he has had runs at his best. It's not really happened for him, though he has definitely shown what he's capable of. And no one's in for him. I find it staggering.
I think it also comes down to how Arsenal have carried themselves in the transfer window. The clubs are waiting to see how much they can swindle us. That's how I see it with Bellerin, with Torreira. Pepe's probably another one. You know, clubs know that his time's up at Arsenal. Clubs know we've had enough of him. Clubs know Arteta doesn't favour him. As the selling club, we haven't got the power in that situation. So I just think it's about how these other clubs are looking at us. There's an abundance of clubs that will take Pepe.
Sure.
You know, Lille will definitely take him back. You know, there's clubs in all over Europe that would take Nicolas Pepe.
Yeah.
But I just think it's just a waiting game for them. They want to see, you know, whether Arsenal come out and offer him out. If you do offer him out, it's a bit, you know, desperation.
Next thing you know, it's a loan with a 10 million option to buy.
James, that's probably the most likely. That's probably the most likely, if I'm honest with you. A loan with you'd be lucky to get obligation, but you know, you might get an optional obligation there. Let's just hope it's not as low as the Guendouzi one.
Yeah. The Guendouzi one was.
It was a joke. There's no point even putting that in.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we
cashing
did that.
it. Cut off for lunch.
Why would you put the obligation in? Like, of course he's going to be worth around 9 million, even if he has a poor season out there. He's a young French guy. He just made the team. He's going to be worth something. But
it's a good point, actually. Considering it was that low, there's actually, what was the point?
It was
Let
just
him
like
go
get him
on
out
loan,
of
play
here.
well, and
that's all it was. Get him out of here. Whatever it is, get him out of here.
Yeah.
There wasn't really much thinking behind it.
There is a poll. Is Pepe good enough to be a squad player at Arsenal? It's tight. 49% yes, 51% no. I kind of feel like he probably is, just maybe under a different manager who would use him in a different way. You know what I mean?
If Pepe, listen, let's say we didn't have Pepe and Pepe had his 2018-19 season, last season for Lille.
Yeah.
And we was linked to Pepe and Raphinha, a lot of people would be picking Pepe over Raphinha this summer.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's just how it's gone for him here. It's become a bit stale. So I'd say no, I don't see him as a good squad player because he just doesn't seem happy when he's coming on. He's very serious. And yes, he's had impact in positive ways, but he's had impact in negative ways too. I just think asking him to be a squad player now, I just don't see it. I think it's time to move on. Sometimes you just got to, you know, move on from these players or these situations. So yeah, it's an interesting one because obviously Raphinha coming in, he essentially there is room for a squad player there.
People are saying there's no room for Raphinha and Saka, let alone Raphinha, Saka, Pepe.
Yeah.
And I personally disagree. I think Saka could thrive with Raphinha being in the squad as well. But
maybe better for him than Pepe because, like I said, with Pepe, it's stale now.
Yeah, I think so.
But he's got quality, so he should be able to find the club. We should be able to get at least 15 mil, 20 mil. Is that so much to ask? 15 rising to 20, something like that.
Yeah, we're shocking at selling.
Yeah, I just can't believe it. I just can't believe we can't get anything for anyone. There's Maitland-Niles and Torreira and all of these, man. Just get rid of these.
I think Arsenal aren't very good at. Arsenal keep their cards close to their chest very well with incomings. I think that's one thing we've done quite well under Arteta.
Yeah.
Really, apart from AFC Bale, no one really knew about Partey, and then boom, Partey.
Yeah.
And we've obviously seen it with Fabio Vieira, and you know we've had that with a few kind of. You look at certain players, and they kind of seem to come out of nowhere. Tavares, we didn't know anything about, although you know. But when it comes to outgoings, we're not as not as kind of secretive. There's never this air of this kind of down. Maybe could Guendouzi be back in the squad next year? No, they want him gone.
Very messy.
They want him gone. Willian last summer, we wanted him gone. Aubameyang, we wanted him gone. Özil, we wanted him gone. There's never a case of keeping it just kind of sweet enough to the point where actually they're seen as desirable.
Yeah.
Because they're so forcefully being pushed out by Arsenal.
Pepe, Torreira, Maitland-Niles, there might be a case that we've shown we want him, but then the season doesn't show it. So,
and I respect Arsenal being ruthless and going, we don't even care about the money coming in. We just got to get them gone. It's not my money, so cool. It's not like we make money back on season
as long
tickets.
as you're not telling me in a year that we have no money, that's when I'll look back at this and say, listen,
sure,
don't tell me that because you could have done better there. But if you're doing it and you don't care about it, and
you're almost writing them off.
Yeah,
you're going whatever.
But you're not going to come back and use
Stan
that.
Will sign that check, forget it, start again.
Cool.
Then fine. But when that happens, it makes it harder when you are in a position where the squad's better and you're not as desperate to sell players. It makes it harder for the clubs coming in.
Yep.
When they go, 5 million low fee? Yeah, well, for Pepe, no. You know, like, it's not happening. And that's the issue with Bellerin, and where I do respect Arsenal is that it looks like Betis and Fiorentina have tried to get Bellerin and Torreira on the cheap. I think even at times asking for cancelled contracts, especially with Bellerin, and Arsenal have gone, no, you want him, this is the price. And if they sit in our squad and don't do anything, so be it. I hope that's Arsenal's approach this summer. And eventually something will come through. It normally does.
Yeah, we've got to start making something, James. I'll be honest with you. We've got to start making something, because this is Arsenal. This ain't Man City. This ain't a team that's, you know, got an abundance of money from the ownership. Or it's not a team that's successful enough to be raking in Champions League money. So I can't believe it hasn't come back to bite us so far in terms of the lack of money coming in for departures. I'm worried it might come in the next 2 years. Okay. But if it doesn't, then so be it. But we've
got prime examples of what we were just saying, right? So Joe Willock and Saliba have both been on loans and at Arsenal at the same. So they've been on loans. But there was nothing around. The narrative wasn't, Arsenal are desperate to get rid of these two. Like, they just send them out on loan just to get rid of them. Mm-hmm. It was very much, they're sending them out so that they can get the game time and experience they need. Willock absolutely smashed it. 25 million came in. Saliba absolutely smashed it. Supposedly loads of interest in bids, but Arsenal want to keep him. That's operating the loan system correctly. And because there wasn't that desperation to throw these players out the door, you actually had a degree of, you know, serious interest with serious money being put on the table for them. So that's where maybe going forward, once we're past the ruthless culling of the squad, we need to actually be 100%. A bit more savvy with how we're kind of
100%
moving players on.
100%. I mean, the two most successful clubs in the past 5-6 years, Man City, Liverpool. Are we going to do it the Man City way? We're not. People say we can do it the Liverpool way. But the Liverpool way came off the back of good departures, good money coming in for players they're selling. That's where the Liverpool way came from. Yeah. At the end of the day, in my opinion, we'll have no chance if we're not, you know, getting a good return on some of these players and some of the players moving forward as well. We're going to lose big names moving forward. As long as I'm happy with it, as long as we get the money necessary to reinvest, rebuild, and make the squad better. Yeah, that's part and parcel.
That's what the
football.
best do. You see, Guardiola said, "I don't ever keep players that are unhappy." Jesus is looking like Arsenal. Yep. Sterling's been heavily linked to Chelsea. That could definitely happen. And Bernardo Silva's been linked with the move away. They could lose all three. But he's like, they're not irreplaceable. I don't want to keep players that are unhappy. But even though we've heard that they supposedly won't go and necessarily replace all of them, they'll have something up their sleeve. No way they're not ready for those potential departures, and that's how 100%. We should be running. Let's get through some super chats. Dinham says, would you consider 5th and a Europa win a success?
It's not a success.
Yeah, success is a big word.
I mean, winning the Europa League is that's you're winning something, so that is a success. But finishing 5th in the league, again, I'm sorry, but the league position matters as well. You know, of course, being in the Champions League, if that was to happen, no one would, you know, be talking about 5th. They'll be focusing on Champions League. But the reality is, in third full season, you know, let's break into that top 4 now. Let's break in, not go into Champions League through the back door. Let's really break in.
I think that season, finishing 5th and winning the Europa League, it would be a bit like if you're an athlete, but you know, one day you just decided to eat loads of fast food. Like, you really enjoy it, but it's not getting you necessarily closer to where you want to be. And I
get you.
I don't know if that's probably a terrible analogy.
I get what you mean.
What I'm trying to say is,
the league tells you more than a cup run, basically.
It'd be like, yes, we won a trophy. I'd enjoy that. Like, Europa League, brilliant. In the Champions League, that is where we want to be, to be fair. Fantastic. But if you're finishing 5th again, and let's say we have the summer that it looks like we might have, another £150 million spent, you're talking 380 million spent by Arteta since he arrived, and we're finishing 5th? That would be concerning. Yeah. That would be concerning, I think.
I'd agree.
Air says Turner will take Ramsdale's job, so he's confident Turner can do a job. We are going to get an American expert, or should I say an expert on American football. He's been following Matt Turner as well. We'll get them in and do a Transfer Daily Extra so we can get a proper breakdown of him as well. Dirk says, do you think there's a long-term project for Martinelli? Where do you see him ending up in the next few years? Main man for us or moved on eventually? I think there's a long-term project. He could be a main man, but if he keeps improving,
I think it's
will
very
come.
interesting that all of our attacking forward links, none of which come from the left-hand side so far. We've had attacking mids being linked and Viera coming in.
Yeah.
He's of that mould. We've had Raphinha and Bowen being linked. Raphinha more so now. We had Jesus. None of which operate from the left. That would tell me that Martinelli's in for a big season, or Arteta sees something in Martinelli that he's going to kind of delve into. Which is interesting, because I thought that would be the wing that we are going to improve if there is any, because obviously Saka's productivity was good. So yeah, I'm expecting a big season from Martinelli.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we've got some more. And FT Max says, hey guys, did you see the Matt Turner thing with the Spurs fan? If we get the signings that we have been linked with Liverpool and Man City, better look over their shoulder. That's all I'm saying. If we get the players that we've been linked with, my expectation won't be get top 4. It will be, yes, get in the top 4, but look good doing it, get it semi-comfortably, knock on the door for 3rd place, maybe even get 3rd place, not be 30 points off Liverpool and City, but be, actually, how many were we off? 22 this season, I think.
Let's be honest, if we're going to be ruthless in terms of the way we assess this process and what's been sold to us, 3rd is very much up for grabs.
Yeah.
3rd is there up for grabs. So in all reality, I don't think what you're saying about sneak 3rd, I think 3rd is there up for grabs.
Sure,
do what you need to do this summer in order to go for that 3rd spot and maybe hope for the best in terms of injuries above or whatever else. But go, because Tottenham, 1st year of their process. United, 1st year. Chelsea, all right, a couple of years with Tuchel, but 1st year under this new ownership. We should be, on paper, best place going into this season to attack that 3rd position, top 4, comfortably, like you said. So let's just make sure we do it.
Cool. I agree. Nick says, maybe fullback position isn't a priority right now, but it's a position that the club should be looking to improve, in my opinion. I'm not sold on Tomiyasu and Tierney being that level of Walker, Cancelo, or Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson.
When I look at the Martinez stuff, and over the weekend I looked into him, I like that link. I can't lie. I really do. And it's one that for me might not signal the end of Tierney, but it'd be a rotation, because Martinez is quality as well. But then maybe Arteta wants an upgrade on Gabriel. It's an interesting one, because like you said, he can go into the middle as well.
And he can play holding midfield.
Exactly. So I think in terms of a fullback, I think Martinez coming in will shore up that side, especially with Tierney's injuries. Tomiyasu, yes, injuries in his 1st season, but I'm giving him the benefit of that moving into the 2nd. Let's see if it's a problem again.
Yeah, and I've said it a million times, I think he'll play centre-back more for us as well going forward. Jerome with the super chat says, this one's slightly throwing me off. He goes, massive gooner here, love the both of you. And I think he's put, you'll never walk alone. But thank you. Is he an Arsenal and Liverpool fan? I don't know.
Maybe just using their slogan for us.
Yeah, maybe. Tutoring Pros with a super chat says, crazy stat I saw today. Gabriel Jesus, 53 goals from 99 starts and 5 goals from 60 games subbed on. Yeah, and that's a good stat. Jesus shines.
Oh, you broke it up. Someone saw James's tweet.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it. You broke it up. Well done, because I thought, shit, James is going to go off on one with his starts. But you broke it up. Well done. Because I'm with James on that one. You've got to, either you don't include his goals off the bench and don't include his appearances off the bench, or you do it exactly how he done it just
And
there.
if you do it that way, and I saw someone else share it on, I think it was Arsenal Presser shared it
tells you more
on Twitter. That's a great stat. I love it.
Yeah, it tells you more.
So when you're starting and you're in the rhythm of the game and you start and you're bagging goals and assists, I love that. But if you're just, and I've seen it so many times with players, it'll be like, the other one, it'll be like 6 goals in 9 games. Yeah, but it was a hat-trick against Stoke, and it was 1 here, and it was, do you know what I mean? I just think sometimes these stats need a bit more context. But yeah, he says, Jesus shines when he's in the light and would be good business. And actually, even away from stats, we watch matches of the day, we watch what other teams are doing. Whenever Jesus starts, it feels like he scores. I don't know. I just, in my head,
he always causes problems.
Yeah.
He always causes problems, that's for sure.
Shrek says, Football is about emotions, right? Some fans say number 14 is just a number. Edu in video told Eddie, you deserve it. 14 was made legendary with sacrifice and hard work. Eddie feels he deserves that, and that's the problem. Shrest, I understand one side of it, the importance of number 14. I don't understand the kind of like, it's a problem, let's say. I understand people having different feelings on it, but anyway, we've done that topic to death, and like he's got the number 14 now, and you know
I'm sick of it. This started last summer anyway with the whole numbers, you know. I know what it's about. Let it just unfold, people. Cool. Let it just unfold. There's no point going back and forth about it. What's done is done. Let it unfold and see who's right at the end of the day.
Yeah, and just score goals and win football matches, and we'll be happy. That's what we care about. But anything else, all this stuff is discussion about things and whatever, but things we might feel or ways we prefer. But it's like you said earlier, you would prefer we got sort of that 30 goal a season number 9 and that more presence and
that's why I'm
another
upset
striker,
about it.
And another striker with Jesus. But if we're winning, doing it with the kind of more of a false 9 approach, who cares?
So be it.
Who cares?
So be it.
RB 2003 says, if we are to sign all the players we're linked with, Jesus, Raphinha, Martinez and Tielemans, what do you believe our starting 11 would look like? Okay, I think that is one for another day, because what we do need to touch on is this Tielemans stuff. And this is going to be my moany section of the show. Before I go into it, Anthony says, top 4 depends on the amount of investment. I'll take 5th in Europa League. I'm not sure about the Raphinha link, just like other media hype. James says KSC's Colorado Avalanche are about to win the Stanley Cup. Perhaps they're not the problem, and we must look elsewhere to explain Arsenal's predicament. How long have you got, Turkish?
Yes. How can someone look at what is the Stanley Cup? What sport is that?
Hockey, I want to say.
Whatever it is.
Hockey?
I don't know how someone can look at hockey and say maybe it's not the problem for us over here. It's completely different sports. It's completely different structures. Financially, it's very different. It's so obvious what's caused a decline at this club. Don't let someone being in this bloody Stanley Cup final start making you doubt what's happened at Arsenal Football Club. Like, come on, people.
Yeah, no, I agree. You can't compare. Yasavi with a super chat. Yasavi, are you referring to a tweet? Because he's sending a super chat saying they're all going to end up with someone else by the end, which was what I tweeted about the Love Islanders.
Oh yeah, night. You did tweet that. Yeah, I saw that.
And people were going, is this transfer related? Or
what was it, Love Island related?
Yeah. They're all going to end up with different people, 100%. But anyway, we won't go into that for another show. Adam says, let's be honest, Raphinha and Yuri aren't coming. Listen, it's probably more likely they're not coming than they are coming, which is why I want to go into this Yuri Tielemans stuff. So, coupled with what I've read, / what I feel about it, / what kind of makes sense in my mind, it looks like the Tielemans stuff has cooled down a little bit. Mm-hmm. Not that Arsenal don't want him, not that they're not trying to sign him, but that basically these others are more pressing. Jesus, there are other teams potentially interested in trying to get him over the line. Raphinha, definitely a lot of competition. Fabio Viera kind of came out of nowhere, negotiating, whatever. Viera and Martinez, we heard Man United are in now. And you could argue, wouldn't be my argument, but you could argue that those positions are more important. Yeah. So with Tielemans, where Arteta has clearly trusted Xhaka, whether he should or shouldn't is another question, and Lokonga, who he signed for 20 million last summer, maybe doesn't see Tielemans as, we've got to get this in immediately, but we'll get it done later in the window. It feels like Arsenal just put it on the back burner. Not they're not interested, they put it on the back burner. Now here's my rant here. I think he is crucial for us next season. I believe so many games are won and lost in midfield. Now, in different ways. City, because they control and dominate. Liverpool, because they can control and dominate with a Thiago, but also they'll just run you to the ground with your Milners, your Hendersons, your Naby Keitas. All good footballers, but athletes as well. I think Arsenal need a Tielemans who can help dictate more from the left, can give us more control in midfield, can score goals. And I actually think a Tielemans will raise the level of some of those other players you're not quite as sure about, like El Neni, like Lokonga maybe. Maybe when you've got other forwards that come in, like Pepe, you actually find he does better because he's being given more chances because we have more of the ball, because we're causing more problems, and the defence improves because we have more of the ball. I think Tielemans is the kind of player that helps facilitate everything around the side. So if we blow this or leave it because we've decided, well, we've got Viera and actually what we've got is enough, I'll be really, really disappointed. I think he is crucial for us.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Tielemans is different to Viera. He'll bring something different and not only Premier League experience. He's got a bit of a rough edge about him as well. And what it is with what you just about El Nene, Lokonga and so on, when you have multiple threats, it gives the opposition more to worry about. At Arsenal last season, our threats were very minimal up top. You know, Saka was the main threat. How many times did we see him double, triple teamed? Essentially, Xhaka, when he was in the attacking midfield position, he's not. You don't really need to mark him. Odegaard, you know, he's not taking much shots. He's just looking for the passes in and around. You showed me on Friday Vieira's assists compared to Odegaard's assists, and you can see they're very different.
Yeah,
it gives the defender something different to worry about. And Tielemans again is very different. I think 100% we need him. Yeah, we need him, and it could be shrewd. Arsenal waiting. We might get him at a better price, but at the same time, you know, we've seen this work out in our favour before, getting a good player for the right price because he's got a year left or circumstances at the club. But we've seen this work against us where other teams, you know, their plan A didn't work out, and it happens to be Tielemans is their plan B. We're twiddling our thumbs. They've gone and got their plan B. Yeah. So let's make sure we do it, because you was very much adamant when we not lost out, but when Basuma moved to Spurs, you was like, listen, Tielemans is my guy. Yeah. So if we get him in, I don't care about Basuma going to Spurs.
Completely agree, and I absolutely stand by that. And this is what annoys me. And there was a bit of this last week when it first appeared that we might be missing out on Tielemans or calling our interest. Some people were saying, you know, does that take the shine off the Viera deal a little bit? And maybe not rightly, but you get people saying, you know, just enjoy the Viera deal. You know, why does it have to be? You don't get this, you can't enjoy that, or whatever. But actually, I'm in the camp of we don't enjoy a player because. Okay, let me rephrase it. Why do we enjoy a player coming? Because they're going to make the team better. So everything we want to happen in a transfer window is about improving the team so they can score more goals and win more football matches and win more trophies.
Positivity merchants. That's the only people that say nonsense like that. You see them guys that are just all about positivity. They want you to celebrate signings, celebrate contract extensions, celebrate saving money in the January window. They will want you to celebrate everything to avoid the main focus that we ain't celebrating winning leagues or things like that. And they're the worst, in my opinion, because they're just blindfolds on and they're putting blindfolds on everyone else. And if you don't want a blindfold on, they're angry with you. They're angry and they call you negative and they say you don't support the club and this and that. It's nonsense. Yes, I'm happy we got a player. Yes, I'll be happy if we get more players. What I'll be happier about is having a fucking good season. That's what it's about. Yeah. I don't celebrate buying a player.
Yeah, and it all comes with a pinch of salt, because it's also like, that's not, Viera might come in and be the Tielemans player I'm thinking we need.
Yeah.
And then I go, oh, brilliant, I got that wrong. Fair enough. And I'd love that. I'd absolutely love that. I didn't think Ramsdale was as good with his feet and his distribution. And I thought, really, 24 to 30 million? That sounds a bit. Now I'm thinking, fair enough. You know, we hope to see more of him, continue to improve. But yeah, that's why I do think there's something in. Let's not just be happy we did this and not really worry about what we didn't do, when we all have our opinions on what Arsenal need to be at their best. Now, none of us will know if we're right or wrong, and we probably won't know till the season starts.
Most of our decline has come from what we didn't do rather than what we did. So people want to keep on focusing on what we're doing. It's what we haven't done over the years that has cost us time and time again. So when do you take your eyes off and say, you know what, you're doing good there, but are you learning from your mistakes and
it's a good point.
What you should be doing.
Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Omar Rakik has joined Sparta Rotterdam on loan for the season. They'll be covering his salary. I don't know anything about Rotterdam and kind of whether this is a good move for him or not, but he's off to play first team football. He's off to play in the Eredivisie, and
he's done.
Oh, really?
He must be done.
You don't think it's just a loan move?
What, another loan move? He's already in the Tunisian national team, right?
Did he have a loan move before, or was he in the academy?
Yeah, I think he was. No, we bought him, what was it, January 20? Wasn't it the first January that Arteta was here? We bought him in. I think he went back on loan straight away. Went back on loan the season after. He's been on a couple of loans. He's of the age now where you'd expect him to be given chances if he is part of the plans. If he's going to Rotterdam, like, what are you going to learn of him going Rotterdam? If he goes and they have 17 clean sheets and he's man of the match 26 games, he's in Rotterdam. Like, it doesn't mean you're gonna like. And the thing about Rekik is, I was intrigued by him. You know,
yeah,
he's got the attributes.
I know you liked him, yeah.
He's got the attributes, but now we're being linked to Martinez. Saliba's come back, and we spent 50 on Ben White, and he's going out on loan again. I think it is what it is.
I don't know. I was kind of the impression that you know, he was doing well in the academy, and that this was kind of first team minutes for him.
Isn't he like 22 now?
Maybe 20. Last time in the comments.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong, and I'm making him older than he is, but I'm sure.
I didn't think
if he's 20, I'd understand that, but I'm sure he came.
Should we have a little look? Should we answer this right now?
Yeah,
let's find out.
Let's put an end to the debate.
Omar Rekik is 20. Turns 21 in December.
Oh, he's still young enough, I guess.
No.
Still young enough. But
I'd like to have seen him in pre-season.
Saliba's young, Ben White's young, Gabriel's young, Lisandro Martinez is what, 24, 25?
Yeah, I mean, he's not a baby, but he's he's No,
he's young enough. He's younger than I thought. So maybe time is on his side.
Yeah, let's see.
Which actually bodes even better, because I was intrigued by him, and if he's that young, then let's see how it works out. But Rotterdam, I don't think that's a great loan move.
Okay.
But I moan about everything, don't I? So let me not start moaning about that.
I have no idea if it's a good move. Like, I don't know.
I would have preferred maybe he goes Championship or something like that, a bit more robust in this country, getting used to the physical. Well, not that he needs to. He's quite physical anyway, but yeah, I would have preferred something like that. But it is what it is. He's only 20. Time's on his side.
Nick says, I find Tielemans overrated.
He has been.
He has been overrated. He's also been underrated.
Yeah, both.
I think the answer is he's somewhere in between. He's a very good Premier League player. He's not a world-class midfielder.
The position we're in, we have to take a risk on that sort of a...
Yeah, and hope he goes from very good to top.
Yeah.
Red Square says, are Spurs really in for Jesus? Seems to me Arsenal just want to make it look like they made up for losing out on Basuma. No, I disagree. I think this is legitimate. Aaron sends in a super chat. Thank you very much. Michael says, Eddie will surprise us. Please support him, everyone. And we're all supporting him. 100%. Anyone who wears an Arsenal shirt, give us your all.
We want you to perform.
Yeah, you know. None of us have ever said anything differently on AFTV or otherwise. Aaron says, I was just sending a super chat. And is there one more? Shretha, signings seem to be going good. James, could you please sum up who are all coming back and will be moved on and sold? Wondering if Bellerin is sold. I did a loan report. I didn't really go into whether... Actually, no, I did. Can't remember my video. I went into whether I think they'll stay or have a future or what's going to happen. So go check out the loan report on AFTV. It came out a couple of weeks ago. If you just type in on YouTube, you will find it. And I believe that is all. We're going to round off there. We've had a nice hour discussing quite a lot of a wide range of topics, not just transfer related. I thought it might be at one point. But that is the news. Raphinha has been reported on a lot, especially in the last hour. So do keep an eye on that one, guys. And obviously, Robbie will be covering it all on Transfer Daily. And if it hots up more, we will do a Transfer Daily Extra to break down what he can bring to the side. There is a Transfer Daily Extra on Gabriel Jesus coming out soon, so do have a little look out for that. And otherwise, not much more to say. Keep doing your thing, Arsenal. I've enjoyed the last 6-7 days. They've been intriguing. They've been like,
movement.
I quite like that. Keep it going. All right, we'll round it off there.
Love, James.
Big thanks. We'll see you all next time.
Love.